Thank you.
Right, welcome everybody. It's the finance meeting of the Teignmouth Town Council on the 26th of May. A certain set of procedures just to run through. You have with you today myself as chair, and Joan Atkins, as most of you know. And we've got Colin Bagent there and Keith Underhill. We've got apologies from Mike Jackman from Van der Rudge and from Kate Williams. So what we do at the beginning, there's information on our agenda which just says to us for information to be taken as read, which is all about declarations of interest for councillors, items requiring urgent attention, things about the Freedom of Information Act, Data Protection Act, mobile phones. If you do need to keep your mobile phone on and you do need to answer it, can you please go outside to do so? I've never fathomed how to do anything but turn mine off, so I do. And we are recording. And then public participation. With this committee, members of the public will be given an opportunity to address councillors present at this meeting regarding their agenda items at the discretion of the chair. Comments of members of the public and the electors of the parish who speak before the start of the meeting will not form part of the minutes. So that's as if you were coming to speak on a specific item. As you're all there on your grants, what I propose to do when we get to just now moving into the meeting itself is note the apologies for absence and first bits and pieces. Do we do the minutes first as well?
I'll go straight to grants.
And then we'll move all the grants forward so that you can all puddle off as soon as you're done rather than sit here and listen to us. And then we'll do the body of the meeting after that. It's neither use nor ornament to make you just sit there and watch us. So, apologies for absence. We've had from Mike Jackman, Van der Rudge and Kate Williams. We've had no declarations of interest and therefore no dispensations have been permitted or needed. And then that takes us to the minutes of the last meeting, which, as I say, will defer and move on to item 10, which is the grant applications. I can just move my papers through to that. So the first one we've got is for Teignmouth Folk Festival. They're not here, so
I suggest you go to the people there.
oh yes, we could do that actually, couldn't we? That would be even quicker. We could just take you down. So you must be Vincent, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right.
I thought you were. So Vincent from the Citizens Advice Bureau. Is that what you call yourselves?
We dropped the word bureau, we're not.
Yes, it's not.
Citizens Advice Teignbridge.
Cat's protection of the same. One knows these things. So at pages 37, there we go. So this is Vincent Wilson, and he's here asking us for £2,000 as a grant. Or do you want to speak to this straight away then? So
yes, I can do.
Elaborate
on
on what you've written here, rather than me reading it out and you repeating it.
That's fine. Yeah, so we're asking for a grant for £2,000 as a contribution to our service, particularly for Teignmouth. Yeah, it might be useful just to say a little bit about what we do at Citizens Advice. So we've got two main aims. So one is to provide advice that people need for the problems that they face, and the other one is to help improve policies and practices that affect people's lives. We're a charity, we're independent, free, and the advice is confidential and impartial. Impartial meaning that we'll talk to anyone. It doesn't matter who the client is, whatever age, sex, disability, anything. Yeah, we have services open to everybody. Here in Teignbridge, we've got 65 volunteers. That includes the trustees. We've got about 22 paid staff at the moment. We're part of a wider consortium of Citizens Advice Devon and of the National Citizens Advice body as well. We have an advice line that we share between Exeter and South Towns, so that when people from Teignmouth or anyone in Teignbridge phones us up and we're busy, then there's a chance that their call will get picked up by another local office and vice versa across those areas. The grant that we're asking for is basically a contribution to the core service that we provide. We've got kind of two bits in a way to our service. So there's a core service for generalist advice, and then we have a number of separately funded projects, and we will refer internally to those projects where people fit the criteria or need the particular specialist advice that's offered. And within that specialist advice, we've got family law, we've got benefits that help people to challenge decisions. Lots of people get turned down for benefits when they shouldn't, and we have something like an 80% success rate of helping people to establish entitlement to benefit when they fall in the first hurdle. We've got a specialist debt project, specialist energy project. We're about to start with some grant funding for Devon County Council for the Crisis and Resilience Fund. So that'll be starting next week. We've got a Health Watch project, we've got an MS Society project, we've got a project for families with children and young people with disabilities, and we've got various outreaches across Teambridge, including in particular being at the Timber Hub on Tuesday, 9:30 to 12:30, where people can come to see us in person. I mean, residents of Teignmouth might see us there, they might phone us up, they might come into Newton Abbot, they might email us. So it's whatever way works best for them. And we've been lucky enough to have grants from Teignmouth Town Council for years on end. And actually, this is the last time it'll be me who's asking for it, because I'm retiring on Thursday. So as I say, I do thank the council for its support over the years. Last year, we advised 488 people, Teignmouth residents, on over 3,000 issues, and helped them to secure incomes of collectively £476,000 for the year. Main issues that people come to us are all connected with cost of living, which remains a kind of a pressure on everyone at the moment. So it's benefits, it's debt, it's housing, it's energy, that kind of thing. They account for the majority of those 3,000 inquiries that we get. 62% of the clients that we see have identified as having an illness or a disability. And the cost of the service is around £9,500, and we're asking for a contribution to that of £2,000. And yeah, the one thing about the income gains that we help people to secure is that they are overwhelmingly spent in the local economy. So in effect, it's central government funds through the benefit system which get paid into the local economy, which help people pay their rent, that kind of thing, but also to spend on leisure and whatever else. And as I say, people are facing real pressures. I can only really see the demand increasing, I'm afraid, and it's likely that people will continue to bring those kind of housing debt benefits, those kinds of issues to us as we move along. And the funding helps to pay for training for our volunteers, and not just the initial training, but ongoing training. It helps to pay for the outreach that we've got at the Teignmouth Hub, and to pay for the supervisor who runs those sessions and assists the volunteers, and a contribution basically to that core service. So if you are able to assist us again, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and may I wish you well on your retirement. You've chosen the right summer for it.
Yes, it's a good time here.
Gentlemen, I have my two gentlemen here now. Just like committee members. Any thoughts, comments?
I'll just look. Okay, you go on.
Well, somebody do something.
I just think it's a very political issue, personally. We'll support it.
Do you receive money from central government?
No, not directly at all. No.
And is this for a project? This is to do a call service?
It's the core service, it's to support the core service. And particularly also to keep the outreach and if possible expand it.
Yeah, because you put a lot of words in your application, and it looks as if it's sort of a general running costs, but we're looking specifically at £2,000 towards maintaining the call service project.
Yes.
Because that's a better cause than general day-to-day running costs.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Can I propose that we actually then grant £2,000 to the Citizens Advice Team?
I'll second it.
And that's all those in favour? Thank you, Vincent.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Who's taking over from Vincent, please?
It's her name's Emma Handley, she's the chief officer at the moment at Plymouth. And with local government reorganisation coming along, offices across the county are looking at merging or restructuring, to kind of fit with the new authorities.
Yeah.
Because we get some core funding from Cambridge District Council and some from Devon County Council, both of which are presumably going to not be there anymore. And they'll want just whichever unitary authority kind of comes into being. They'll just want one body really to negotiate with, and it's a chance to create efficiencies and better standards, learn from each other, that kind of thing. And so we're going through a period of discussing how that might look. And so Emma, she'll remain the chief officer of Plymouth as well and take us on kind of through that process of transition. Because there'll be changes in staff at the time that happens.
Thanks very much. Nice to meet you.
It's really quite interesting actually, because there's very little being said about what's going to happen with parishes and towns.
No, right, yes.
I think we just we're going to be the basis upon which they sort of shuffle everybody else around us.
I understood that you might get some more money, but I don't know.
No, that's never been on the table, unfortunately.
Our only funding is from the precept,
Yes, right.
unlike government grants to
sure.
district and parish, district and county.
Okay.
But I mean, it's all so much up in the air. I do believe there's, we've been told that Cambridge, because I'm the Cambridge councillor as well, that they are expecting to be given something reasonably concrete in July.
Yes, that's what we said.
What that is,
No, but all
who
those
knows?
lots of different proposals went in,
No.
and who knows what will come out.
And I mean, even down to the police, because the police are looking at restructuring their areas to try and compensate,
Yes.
mirror, whatever you want to
Yes,
call it,
yes.
really, how all the shuffling around of the districts and things goes
Yes.
down.
Yes.
Which is a shame, because I think Devon and Cornwall's worked really well as it goes, but you have to move with the times, so
Absolutely. But,
you
yeah,
can
it
still
creates a
watch
lot-
from the sidelines, can't
There's a
you?
lot of uncertainty,
does.
particularly, for third sector organisations who rely on government, whether, council funding.
Well,
What's going to happen?
And of course, even the staff employed at the time, I
Also.
was working for Devon when the last big reorganisation came in 1998,
Yes.
and I nearly lost everything on that because I was so terrified of not getting anything.
Yes, absolutely.
Staff are really
Yeah.
running around under a cosh, a lot of them.
Yeah.
They
I mean,
want to get their jobs.
our aim really is that however we restructure, that the public ought not to notice a difference. There will still be court systems by Steambridge, they have the sign outside the door. And hopefully if there's any change they notice, it's one for the better, that the services are improved.
A seamless transfer will be nice.
Yes, and it all happens behind the scenes, if you like, all that restructuring. That's
With all those little legs going up there.
Yeah, that's right, yeah, exactly.
Anyway, we wish you
Thank you
well,
very
and
much.
thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for all the hard work that you
Thank
put
you
in
very
for
much.
us over the years.
Well, as I say, thanks for your generosity. Thank you. Bye-bye.
If by any chance the front door is shut,
No,
not yet,
oh yeah, you're safe, you can get out.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
yeah, where's me? So that's citizens' advice, so now I've got Friends of the River team.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Joanne Sparks and I'm here to represent the Friends of the River team. We are a relatively new organisation. We're about to come up for our second anniversary, and we started as a group because we realised that there was no one really advocating for the river team from the mouth of the river right up to the source up on Dartmoor. And we also were able to look at various other rivers in the area, the Exe, the Dart, who had some really great friends groups who were managing to make changes that were meaningful to people who lived and worked around their river. So that was why we were set up originally. We've had a really active couple of years. We've had some great, we had a PhD student who ran her PhD from the river team last summer. We've had very recent success, which I know Keith was at, and possibly other people, where we did a showing at the pavilions of Jo in the Water, who is a lady who lives in Exmouth, Jo Bateman, and she decided a few years ago to take South West Water to court because she was unable to swim off her local beach because of the sewage that South West Water were letting go out onto their beach. But we sold the pavilions out, which I think is no mean feat actually, on a Sunday evening in May, and I think that shows the strength of feeling around the town and the need for this group. So moving on to the grant we've asked for. We've asked for a grant of £2,000, and this is to help to fund a project that we'd like to do in August of this year here, where we will take samples every day in 4 locations around the river. And those locations are the back beach, the front beach, Town Beach, Shoulden Beach, and also Combe Cellars. And we want to use a special design of kit which gives you an answer as to what's in that water within 15 minutes, which when you compare that to the Environment Agency, which takes 3 to 4 days for a standard test, you can see why that would be of a benefit to the town. One of the things that we want to be able to do is to assure people that it is safe to swim here. And on a more personal level, I own a holiday home in Teignmouth, and after the Gales Hill incident that was last month, I had 3 phone calls from people, and our holiday cottage is right on the back beach. 3 phone calls from customers asking, was it safe to swim in water? And we would love to be able to tell people it is safe, because we all know, all the people who live here know that actually it is safe most of the time, other than when South West Water told us not. So the plan is August, whole month of August. We're choosing August because it's the busiest time for tourism down here. It also gives us a 31-day window of testing. And we want to also look at trialling and evaluating different testing technologies to make sure that we're using the one that's the best for our river. There's lots of different ones around. And University of Exeter and Molenbeek are also involved in this project. We want to be able to help provide reassurance to residents and visitors that our water is clean and safe to swim in. When we do the tests, it will be about 124 in total, and that will compare to if the Environment Agency in the same time period will do between 12 and 15 tests of their own. And we are also looking to test for a wider range of organisms, including the vibrio species, which is what the PhD took place over last summer. Vibrio bacteria is a really horrible one, and if it gets into open wounds, it can really make people very, very poorly. It can cause fasciitis and nasties like that. We do have it here in the river team. It's carried by shellfish and released in the water, but it's also fed by nutrients, which is why we want to test to see whether it's in our water properly. We're also going to undertake some DNA testing of our samples, and that will show whether we have bovine or human waste in the water. So we don't receive any funding as such. We are a charity. We have now got our registered charitable status. We've already raised £800 towards this ourselves, and we've also secured 2 different grants totaling £1,000. Now you might ask why we're asking you for £2,000. Teignmouth is taking the majority of the tests up. So 50% of the tests we do will be done in Teignmouth water, 25 in Sholden, 25 up the river in Coo. All the testing, I've just got some questions that Stu sent me. Will the testing show the back beach to have a poor water quality, which actually none of us really want from a tourism point of view and a residents' point of view? We don't think so, is the honest truth. The water quality can vary considerably depending on the weather. And we did have the incident last Carnival Day when we had that very short, sharp shower, and the E. coli that came out of Bitton Brook was off the scale. The Environment Agency couldn't actually read it. It was too high.
Is that the one that they mysteriously lost?
Yes, it is, but we wouldn't lose ours quite so much. There's currently no other testing planned at all for the summer by any other agency. And as for publishing results, yes, we will. But Stu's written here, we will take care to present the findings responsibly and alongside official data. Our aim is to inform the public without causing unnecessary alarm or scaremongering. We are very, very conscious of that, and from the very first meeting we ever had, it was very much top of our agenda that the worst thing we could do was scaremonger within our little town, because we don't need that help of any side. And any questions? Is there anything you want to ask me?
I've got one question.
Yes.
So in Stuart's update,
Yes.
where you confirmed your charitable status,
Yeah.
and also the increase in the data that's going to be extracted, it
Yes.
says there's risk. It says it increases the risk somewhat because there's an additional volunteer overhead.
Oh, yes.
So would that mean that a day might be missed because of
No,
that?
we won't let it happen,
Okay.
but we're hoping that we can get enough volunteers that we're not all running around
No,
all the time. We've got volunteers, there is no money put aside to pay anybody to collect testing. And we are all volunteers, and we won't miss a day, because if we miss a day, we're going to mess it up. So we've got to, but we're on it. We've got lots of people volunteering to take test samples. To be honest, it's the collating of the data which might take a while afterwards.
Okay.
Because it will be huge.
Trying to capture more.
And we're meeting next week to finalise the protocol of how each test is going to be done, because ideally we are going to be doing it at the same time every day. I think that's quite important that they are literally 24 hours apart. But we have lots of people who swim, myself included. I will be doing the front beach because that's where I swim every morning. And if it's a bad weather day and I'm not swimming, I shall still go down and get my sample.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Can I ask a couple of questions about location? When you say the front beach, are you going to be doing it from the same place that the Environment Agency did, or a varied location? Because they blame the birds, they blame the dogs, they blame just about everybody from the front beach.
We are going to do it from the slipway groin post that's on the slipway. We're going to do it outside St Michael's Church. And but our theory is, if we do it from exactly the same place every day, it takes out a massive, that variation is then gone. So everybody will have certain locations. The location we haven't decided on yet properly is where on the back beach. We're going to discuss that next week and define that, because it's quite a big stretch of beach, and I think we'll probably go for the lifeboat slip at this point, but I think that is still up for discussion as to whether that is the best spot to do it.
I mean, I'm just a bit confused, really. I mean, this is just an aside, but I mean, how the water comes down the river, then it goes round and along the back beach, and there's an eddy there off the sand key, which of
Yes.
course throws everything out.
Yeah,
And that beach is allegedly not a swimming beach.
no, it's not designated as a bathing area.
Same water when it gets to Shoreham is.
Yes,
Now work that
exactly.
one out, because I wondered if you had an answer to that, because it's the same water.
I think what you have to remember is a bathing water status doesn't actually mean this is clean water. It means it's tested water.
Ah, right.
So that's the first thing. The other thing is that bathing water status doesn't just look at water quality, and the back beach ultimately is a working beach. And therefore, and actually, it would be, in our opinion, dangerous to say that is a designated bathing spot, because actually there's so much boat activity and everything else. Whereas if you say the front beach is your designated bathing area, you know that you can have a lifeguarded area that's safe to swim in.
Well, also with the back beach, of course, in the summer, people can't take their dogs on the front beach, so everybody takes their dogs on the back beach, so you've got that going on as well. But
But a lot of people choose to swim for that.
yeah,
And
I mean,
that's
also,
important.
are you aware that we've got the seaside award now?
Yes.
Because that's been very low key from Teambridge, I'm sad to say,
Sorry,
but
yes.
it's all to do with the fact that there's an election in Dawlish, and
Yes.
it's now called a time of political sensitivity. So I couldn't go. I mean, I as deputy mayor was the one that was going up to be with them in the flag, and then everybody got cross and said I couldn't go.
Don't go because it would be seen to be, yeah. Is it
But-
heard, or is that what?
Yes, but no, it's now a time of political sensitivity.
Okay.
That is further anyway.
Okay.
It's one of those.
Yeah.
But it was just so stupid because it meant that actually the whole thing has gone off like a damn switch,
No.
quite frankly.
Yes, yeah,
There's a picture on there on Teambridge's newsletter with Sarah and Anna from the Seafront team with a flag on Dawlish Warren, and that was it. We don't even get a picture.
Oh, we have.
Have we? Where have we got that?
Yeah, with Terrell in it.
Oh, that's there, is
It
it?
was online somewhere. Yeah.
Oh,
I've
that's
seen
true.
it.
But I mean,
Yeah.
it's all just nonsense, and of course, what should have been a big celebration, although it's not the blue flag, it's at least a seaside
Something.
award, and that
Yeah.
means we've met sort of standards for all this and that,
yeah,
which again would have been a reassurance.
Yeah.
It wasn't there, so I think that's really useful, Jo, thank you for all
yeah, I
that.
just, it is, I want to be clear that it is not our aim to, in any way, stop people swimming.
Absolutely.
But we want to give people the relevant information, to make sure they can make a judgment for themselves.
Yes.
I think that's,
And it's also their animals, I mean, there is also the question of
Yes.
dogs, and of course, the most vulnerable little kids and grannies
yes.
are often the ones that are on the seashore, and you know, it's.
Just as an aside of that, the interesting thing about the Gales Hill problem that we had a month or so ago, it was actually dogs that got sick first.
Really?
Yes, that was the first start of the reports. When you look back, it was dogs that got sick first, and then humans. But they won't, South West Water won't accept humans being, because there was no way of testing them. Their view could be that you could have picked up anyway, which they could have done, but it was a heck of a coincidence that they'd all been rowing that day.
Well, when Stuart did the presentation to our parish meeting, I said I'd smelt it, because all of a sudden, that
Yes.
Friday afternoon, there was this
Yes.
gigantic stench of sewage.
Yeah.
That I thought my internal manhole had blocked up, because
Yeah.
I've got one inside my property.
Yeah, yeah.
And I thought, well, that's not it.
No, yeah,
Well, that's really weird. Went outside and you could smell it right the way across the top there.
Yeah.
Of course, because that bit at the bottom of
Yeah.
Exeter Road, which is, I'm just
Yes.
round the corner from
Yeah.
there. Absolutely
Yeah.
unbelievable.
yeah.
So,
Yes.
we move on really, and we've got some fingers crossed. Keith, have you got anything on that you'd like to ask?
Worthy cause we need to do for the
Yes.
town.
Yes.
So I think it says it in the project pack, but where are the results published?
Well, we will initially publish them to Friends of the River team,
Okay.
and then you will definitely get a copy within about 6 weeks. That was our plan, was have, and then our AGM is after the 6 weeks. We don't want to say where we're going to publish it until we kind of know what we've got, because we've got to be, again, this is all about the sensitivity to businesses in the town. We've got to be really careful, and it will kind of depend a bit what we find, which will also depend a bit on the weather, I suspect. But if you think about August, we very often get a little bit of wet weather in August.
Well, last year it was the 31st of July.
Yeah.
That event. Yeah. Okay, thanks very much.
But yes, sorry, I can't be more specific about that, but we'll have to, think about that.
That's fair enough, I mean, just keep us in the loop.
Yes,
Or
you would
compromise
be,
anything.
to be honest, you and Sheldon and anybody, and Coombe and everything else would be kept very much in the loop if we thought there was a problem as well. What's the point?
Because I keep walking around going, I have a gas leak in between times, so
Oh, right,
it's
okay.
just as well. So gentlemen, can I propose that we give the Friends of the River team their £2,000
Yeah,
for asking for?
Thank you very much.
Unanimously, I'll
Much
thank you, Joe, for coming, and
appreciated.
thank you
Thank
for
you
all
very
your help.
much.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
all that you are doing for
Yeah.
residents and businesses.
Yeah, well, we're hoping to do another, the film was so successful that night that I think we'd like to do another sort of question and answer sort of thing, but we need to come up with what. Love to get South West Water down there, but they don't like to come. 'Cause
You need to have a look. Sometime last year, the Overview and Scrutiny Committee at Cambridge did have some people from the Environment Agency and South West Water. I think one of them refused to come. I can't remember.
Yes.
But if you have a look, there's all sorts of things there. I keep meaning to do it and see what they promised to do. Because I was at an informal meeting of the Overview and Scrutiny thing where they sort of chatted about strategy and what we should be doing and whether we ought to be putting various things in place. And I thought, I think we ought to actually call those chaps back to see what they'd like to tell us a year on.
Yeah, year on.
Because I think the thing that everybody's forgetting, I mean, Luke and Adele will know this from where they were, before that double drain was put outside the Anchor, there was only one, and it used to flood there, and the cellar used to flood every time.
Oh yeah, there was always big trouble there.
Yeah, and I mean, well, you know where I am, I'm at St James's Church. I mean, it is alleged that most of the drains up there are crumbling, basically, and we have rats up there. I've had them under my house, and in next door, I've got like a cat flap in my drains now. If they for some reason manage to get up the other side of it, they can get out, but they can't come through.
Yes.
So that, because I heard it go the other night, and I thought, oh dear God, don't tell me there's an even smaller one than usual got up there. But it's something that we pay a lot of money for our water, especially now they've taken off the rebate that we used to get. I mean, 50 quid's 50 quid, no matter how much it is.
It was very interesting listening to Martin Ridley the other night at the pavilions, because people were asking about the fact that South West Water are fined, but ultimately it's all of us that pay that fine. And he was suggesting that one of the things the Liberal Democrats are looking at is fining them in shares. So they won't get fined money, they'll get fined shares, so that those shares will become the fine. So that money that those shares earn goes back into, I think, central government, I suspect. But that's quite a different approach, which I thought, well, yeah, I can sort of see where they're coming from with it.
Well, I don't know whether Stuart told you, I sit on a coastal communities group that works with the, I've got to get it right, it's not the LGA, it's the NALC, National Association of Local Councils. And it was only out of interest, I joined it because there's a special interest group. And when I get time to transcribe my notes back, they mentioned that within that special interest group, there are two groups of our elected members at Parliament who also sit on that. And they said, you want to get Martin Wrigley actually sitting on one of those groups, or both of them, and doing some good up there, but I can't remember which they were till I looked
Oh,
up
right,
and
yeah.
see it. But I mean, there is a lot going on in terms of it's a national problem, because there are all
Yes.
sorts of people. There's, strangely enough, I think your town apart from Exmouth's there.
Yes,
So Exmouth is very hot on it, but there's people from
I think
Yorkshire,
Exmouth
Scotland,
are
all
kind
over
of,
the place.
kind of maybe 2-3 years ahead of us, and the Dart as well are very active group, very, very active group.
But you know, keep us in the loop and
We
let
will.
us know. is all
Yes,
we
thank
can
you very
say.
much, we will,
We
yeah.
should look forward to it. I did enjoy Stuart's presentation. I didn't know there were all these people wandering about down in the team doing clubs.
Oh, yeah, we're all
All these
there.
little beasties.
Thank you ever so much, really appreciate
Well, thank
it.
you
I shall
for
let
coming.
him know, I shall go and phone him. He's in the car apparently.
Oh, wow. So here we go then, last but not least, Adele and Luke. Hang on. No, it's nice to see you, because I gather, I believe, at least that you've now got your charitable status sorted, is
Yes.
that right?
It's in process, so we
It's still in
haven't,
process,
yeah,
have you got it?
no, we've not got it yet. It's, the application's all been received. There was a query from the commission a while ago. They needed some more information on, the way something was worded, which has been sent back to them. So we're still waiting to hear the confirmation, which hopefully, well, we keep saying hopefully it'll be soon, and
Well, they turned
soon
the
enough.
friends of the team around quite quickly, I think, because I don't think there's a big line in the making.
I think you find carnivals are tricky.
Which is why, what's the place up near the five? Big one, Bridgewater. They all have carnival clubs
Yeah,
rather than a carnival charity or whatever. And it might be, you need to think about that. Our difficulty has always been, you see, that everybody says, oh, you've got to come running for the carnival. Our policy is we don't give it to limited companies.
No.
Because, you know,
and
technically they should.
that will change either way, so it would be a non-profit.
CIO,
Yeah,
at
rather than,
this point in time, you can deal with it as you did last year. So you could, if you wished to give money, you could give it to, I think it was to Sonic last year.
Yeah, paid for.
So the council paid for them directly, as opposed to giving money to a limited company. So there are ways of dealing with it.
What do you actually need the 2,000 for? It's chairs and tables and things, and gazebos, isn't it?
No, that was, we put that on because it was explained that could possibly be like make up part of the
Grant in
payment in
kind.
kind.
Yeah.
So that's why we put that on there. We don't know yet the full amount because we have been offered some things that we can borrow from a couple of other organisations. But the gazebos, we definitely like to be able to include those if we can. The rest of it is, it's like you say, it's just the cost of putting it on. Obviously, businesses, it's always sort of landed very heavily on sponsorship from local businesses to fund the event, which is getting harder for people. So anything sort of helps towards the overall costs, which are a lot. We've been doing some fundraising events as well to run up to it, just to try and not just be sort of asking for money, trying to do some different events. We've had a race night and just the social club are doing a bingo night. I think there's plans for like a quiz night, just some different bits and pieces just to try and build the money sort of throughout the year as well, rather than just sort of having a sudden rush. We've got, again, we kind of want to hold off on starting up. We want to do Friends of the Carnival, but we want to hold off if we get the charitable status, because then we can get the gift aid.
Yeah.
So we're kind of really on that teetering point now of how long do we hold off on starting to do it as to raise funds compared to waiting for the benefit of having the gift aid.
Can I make a suggestion then? That if we were to do as we did last year, which was to pay £2,000 towards your fireworks, then that's not untoward and different from what it was before, and then you sort yourselves out.
That would be fantastic. if
And
we
then
could-
hopefully
if we
by
could
next
do
year,
something
that's
that way.
okay, isn't it?
That's
Well, it's not
easiest
fireworks,
way
is it?
processing.
What are you doing?
They, laser show.
Oh, wow. Oh, I'm up for that, lovely, yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely,
yeah,
if
yeah.
there's a concept of doing something, towards something, then that would be great.
Well, if we do that, then that gets you over the worry about how you're going to pay for £2 worth of that, because I know it's a lot more than that. Certainly was when I investigated it, even just for Christmas, 10 was about 4 times as many as that, 10 drones, and that was it. Oh, right.
Oh, yeah, we looked at drone show.
Mm.
Yeah, we looked at that now.
Yeah, but it's such a shame because they're great. They are so good when they're there. What really winds me up is when you see things on the telly with like developing countries in my head still, like North Korea, which is supposed to be really poor and everybody's sort of under oppression. And they've got these fabulous drone shows and things that go, oh, we're doing something wrong somewhere along the
But
line.
it was the space as well, I think it needed
Needed 100 metres space. So
like 100 metres
front to land.
square to go up and down from,
Right,
which
yeah.
made things a little tricky as well.
Although you wouldn't be confined to the beach and the high tide sea, you'd probably do it on the den with Teambridge, because Teambridge are very interested in supporting us in events now, apparently. I've just sent an email through. Because we don't know what goes on the den, they don't tell us, and they used to tell us, and I don't know why they don't tell us now. It's very odd, it's weird. And so we're trying to make build some bridges there. So, I mean, regardless of that, that's an aside, but I mean, if you would accept £200 towards your laser show, I love them, I think that would be it.
2,000 fireworks,
Fireworks.
was it? Was it fireworks?
If we can do it that way, towards the laser show.
Yeah, laser show, can I propose that, boys?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Keith. Colin, all in favour?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
there
you.
you go.
Lovely, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Have some happy faces, always had everyone there.
It's nice to see you, I've been there for ages. So, take care, and, if you get stuck with anything, because you're new to it, Sarah, I'm sure, will help you, because she's
Sarah's
running on her
involved.
own for years, bless her.
Yeah,
There's still to be trustees.
she's a trustee,
Brilliant.
so she's still been involved with everything, it was just so she's not doing it.
All
All
right,
right.
yes,
Yeah.
because she kept saying, this is my last year, this is my last year, and then because nobody else came forward. You might need to just be careful with the fair, because the fair didn't come at Whitsun this year apparently, because they said the weather was so bad last year that they didn't make any money, so they weren't going to come.
We've got everything sorted with
Brilliant.
fair,
That's all right.
they've been really supportive as well.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
help with a lot of,
Stuff.
That's
all right.
lots of, lots of
Yeah.
infrastructure things that they arrange.
Okay.
So, they've been really good.
But then, just let us know, because, again, we can publicise all this on our events, but the people don't use us. And I mean, I know that people aren't going to go to the town council website to see what's on, but they might if people told us what was on. Do you know what I mean? It winds me up. We keep saying, community events, we put our events up there, we'll put your events up there.
Yeah,
And they just don't send anything. And then they wonder why people don't know what's going on. I mean, also, will we have the computers in the loos up by then?
Yes, but don't forget they're for public announcements. Everybody thinks they're just going to advertise stuff, but they are to advise at other facilities in the town, etc.
Right.
We've had a few ad hoc inquiries.
Right.
People think they can just advertise on them, so, but they're not running yet. We're waiting. Broadband, as ever.
As ever. But, just let us know, because we can help with things like that. We've hopefully developed a distribution list as well for all the organisations, which we're just about to trial with a bit of luck. So, to see if that works, because there are so many organisations in the town that you just don't know exist. And if you could just whack an email out and say, can you bring this to the attention of your members, please? You know, it might get to hundreds more people, thousands more people who might think, oh, I'll go down for that, or I've got the grandkids coming down. If we get more people from the town, it's better for visitors because they're not actually using the parking. So there we go. So thanks ever so much for coming.
Thank
Nice to
you.
see you.
Thank you very
Take
much.
good care.
Thank you. Bye.
If you can't get out, come back.
No.
Thank
Did
you.
you get who proposed and seconded? Sorry? Yeah, right. Well, I think I have. I don't know if I did. I don't know.
Because we've got the others to
It'll
do.
be on there.
Yeah.
If not, I think I might have just stopped it.
I think I probably proposed it, didn't I?
I second it.
Keith seconded it.
I've got
Yeah.
one there.
Okay. So if we go back to.
They're lots. Yeah, we'll just need to, see if we can do a better job with that.
Yeah.
So if we could do, if we pay £2,000 ex that, because we'll get the VAT back, but need to check that.
So we'll go back and finish the grants off now.
I would, and then
Yeah, so we go back to the top, that was Timoth Folk Festival. And as ever, they've asked for some in kind and some as cash out of a total of 1,500, 500 in cash, 1,000 in kind, yeah. And it's, you know, the folk festival has been running a long time.
Brings an awful lot of people into
It
town.
does, yeah, it does. I mean, I don't think that's
I'll propose it.
unreasonable, okay. Calling to propose,
I'll second it.
and then all in favour, so that gives us that one.
just, if you approve all your grants, which obviously you can, you'll have used 11,000 of your £21,000. And this is your first meeting.
However, it is most of the things for the summer.
Oh, yeah,
of the
yeah,
year,
yeah, yeah.
So, you know, this is the one that is always the heavy things, this is why it's difficult.
So who proposed the folk festival, sorry?
Me.
What did I just miss then?
Folk festival.
We've proposed the folk festival in its, as set out,
Right.
500 pounds in cash and £1,000 in grant in fines. Me first, Keith second, and Colin all in favour.
I thought it was me that proposed that.
Oh, sorry, it was Colin, the other way around. Sorry, I've actually got it written in front of me, look.
Yeah,
Because we've got two more to do, TTC Theatre.
for some reason, the folk festival seemed to think we didn't have a large gazebo anymore.
Friends of
But it was broken, which is not true.
That was one of my questions before we, so we've got what, £1,000 carried forward from last year, or
No.
the budget's been reset.
So the budget,
reset.
so anything that's not spent goes back into general reserves.
Yeah, I was changed that forward from 10% to £2,000.
But no people could ask for,
£2,100.
yes,
Okay,
because it is 10%.
okay, thanks. So the youth theatre,
Okay, the youth theatre then, they've asked for £1,500 for a project of £3,000. And they want to use it basically to reduce fees for those who can't actually afford it, families who are in difficulties, improve their resources and ensure the sustainability of the group. It will directly contribute to increasing opportunities for young people in Timoth, reducing isolation and supporting their personal development in a positive and creative environment. And I think that sounds fine. Got 45 young people, many of whom face challenges, low confidence, anxiety and limited access to extracurricular opportunities as a coastal community. And they're committed to ensure all young people can take part regardless of their ability and financial circumstances, which is worthy, I think. What are your comments, chaps?
No, I agree with you, Chair, I think it's very worthy.
Colin?
Yeah.
So can I propose that we give them their 1,500?
You can, I'll second that.
Brilliant. And Colin is this time all in favour. So I think I've seen them playing somewhere, or they're due to play somewhere. I can't remember where, because I thought, well, who were they? Because I want, there's dramatically different that work out of the Alice Cross Centre, and I think they work in Brixham, and I was interested to see, I think they've been in one of the shows down at the pavilions recently, or they're doing one later in the year, so it'd be useful to keep an eye on that and go and see how they get on. So that's the Folk Festival and the Youth Theatre, and the last one is the Friends of Our Ladies and St Patrick's, which I suppose in any other guise is a PTA.
Yeah.
Wanting to do some work on their environment, basically. I don't know whether you know the site, but if you go in the drive and it's up on 113 Hill. It's not the most welcoming of places, that's for sure. Or at least I'm assuming, is it the school or is it the church?
It's the PTA.
It is the PTA, yeah, that's what I thought.
Because
I just
if
thought we had
it was the school, you couldn't fund it.
Well, that's what I thought.
I'll check that today.
In this application, we'll be spending £2,000 on gazebos for Friends of OLSP. When we've got gazebos ourselves that we can rent out to them, that would be in kind.
Well, I also,
Or does that
it
not
says,
work?
No, I think they want to replace their gazebos.
Yeah, absolutely.
and a big shed, it
Yeah.
said, a storage
Yeah.
shed, which seems
Yeah.
to be an awful lot of money for some gazebos. I think it's 10. is it 10?
Well, they're not cheap if you buy proper ones.
What did they not say? That was what was confusing me, because sometimes I get confused with these about what.
No, what I was saying is we've got gazebos.
No, we have, but they want to buy gazebos. I think.
Yeah,
Well,
we
that
have
way,
gazebos that they would be able to use when they're having events that need their gazebos.
What?
No, does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I know what.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is we could give them multiple grants in kind.
Yeah, would that then, does that then not come out of the budget, or does it still come out of the budget?
No, it comes
so
out
it
of
comes out
the
of
budget.
the budget.
Nice try.
It's still a cost, you see, that's the thing. I mean, everybody thinks in kind doesn't go anywhere, but actually, with it, when it goes in kind, the charge gets moved about.
Being very selfish, couldn't we give them our old gazebos and buy some new ones?
I wondered about that, actually.
Or have we watched the budget?
Oh, so all ours are branded, they're serial numbered, we've got them
Yeah. I understand.
into good order in recent years, so
It says we're seeking funding to purchase new gazebos, gazebo weights, and an additional storage shed to support our ongoing fundraising activities and school events. So they're talking about school sports day and things like that. I suspect they want their own so that they have them on tap.
Yeah.
And can just use them without having to fiddle around and see if we've got them and make a payment out. It's just, it will be done and dusted, and that takes something off an organisation for a day or an event of some description. I did think it was a lot of money, but then, you know, I'm not the world's worst on gazebos.
so one of our 3x3 gazebos is £379
Really?
heavy duty.
Is that with all its sides?
I'm just checking that.
And then you need the weights.
Not sure that it includes weights or sides. Yeah, so the weights would be another 139. So I think it does include, with side walls. It's 400, so it's £500 with side walls plus another 130 for weights. So
That's a figure I really want, yeah.
that is, you can get much lighter duty ones, and probably for what they want, that would be fine. But that's up to them. They've asked for the money to get a shed to store them in and buy some gazebos.
Yeah, I'm not sure where I sit with that really.
Joe, I'm of the same mind, unfortunately.
I mean, I can see it's a means to an end, because if they have that, they can do more fundraising, they can do everything that they want. But I'm not sure. I think I would go for giving them 1,000. Because, I mean, actually, they want to do it all in one hit. Well, isn't this the sort of thing where they could do one this year, one next year, you know, do whatever, that they could actually sort it. I mean, a shed to take something like that.
Well, or other sources of funding.
Yeah. What if they could do? I'm not aware of any funding from Teignmouth Town Council prior to commencing my term of office as chair of the Friends in 2004.
So if the other schools in Teignmouth wanted to do the same, that's just about a budget gone, isn't it?
Yeah, unless they could work collectively.
Yeah.
And they haven't actually said that they've raised any money themselves, that I can see in amongst all that lot.
Well, I would propose that we offer them £1,000.
Or we could give them maybe 500, 600, 700 quid there, because they won't pay that either as a school.
But it's not the school, is it? It's PTA.
No, but does the PTA not enjoy the same benefit as the school? I don't know.
It's a charity.
Yeah, well, the charities pay that,
Yeah.
unless you're a church, I think. I think they got exemption many moons ago.
I'll second what Keith said.
1,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which leaves us in a position to have more funds for the rest of the year for similar applications, and then look at how that's dealt with if schools and friends at schools in the area cooperate.
Yeah, I mean, they could always lend each other their stuff. Although, you know, as ever, things that get lent don't get treated like they belong to you. You know, some about that to the children.
That's why all ours are branded.
Yeah.
And now we have to check them in and check them out.
So we've got a proposal for 1,000 and seconded for 1,000. So
All those in fact, yeah, I'll go with that, no problem at all. No, proposed by Keith.
Second.
All was
Colin.
seconded by Colin, and I'm in favour. And I think that was there. So now we've got to go totally in reverse and go back and approve the minutes of the last meeting, to go back to the very start. So I think that was a really good idea to let those good people go home in this heat. So the minutes of the last meeting were the 24th of March. Has anybody got any problems with those?
No.
I didn't see anything. Can I propose them as a correct record?
Well, I wasn't.
You weren't there, so we're just completely unanimous between us then, Colin.
Yeah. But we will need 3 votes.
That's all right, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
You vote on the
stop you
action.
vote, yeah. Because otherwise you wouldn't be called. progress.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's voting on the actions, but you're happy with the action there, so that's okay. Brilliant, that's fine. And then bank recs, we've got, this will be, March will be in the old year and April will be part of the new rota, will it, or were they the old rota? Because we didn't change the old rota until the parish meeting, did we? So they're both in the old. Now, none of these have got signatures on, so there's no issue with that.
No reduction required.
But Terrell put on unredacted copies of the completed list of payment documents will be available by inspection for councillors at the meeting. Just to be clear, so, you know, they've been done, it's just that the signatures aren't on
You
them.
can't read them out
Yes. Yes,
because we are
No.
being
absolutely,
watched by Debbie.
absolutely. That's
Is that what
why,
you signed in?
Yes.
that's why I made the point of reading it really, because I was a little bit taken aback by that. So, we've got those accepted, do we have to note them or we just note them?
Yeah, just note.
Can I ask you a question about one of the payments in April? Is this a good time to do that?
We're on list of payments next.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, carry on.
We paid £200 to Chloe Aston,
Yep.
and what was requested was a deposit of £40.
Where are you? Give us a clue.
Which date from?
April the, give me a second. It's April the 18th. Seventeenth of April at the bottom of page 32.
Mm-hmm.
So they sent an invoice asking for a deposit of £40.
Yeah.
But we've paid for a total of £200. I think it's going to take place in November, but we've paid £200. That's the invoice. It just seems a bit strange.
That was,
It's the piano lady for Christmas.
Yeah.
It was Christmas light switch on.
yeah,
But is there any reason why did we not pay the deposit in the first place?
I'm sure I'd have to look into it. I didn't do it, so I'd have to see why we paid them for.
That's the invoice.
Oh,
This one, it doesn't make a lot of difference when it's £200, but if there's a lot more, then that means that we've got less in the interest account.
yeah, sure. I can look into that for Colin and I'll come back to you.
With quite a lot of the people that
Make a note of that in a minute, Debbie.
people that are booked for acts or booking the stage for Christmas and things like that, we often pay a deposit to confirm that the
That's,
booking
that's
is
right,
there.
that's what's been requested, the deposit for £40.
What date's that?
So we just paid it in full.
7 months in advance. This seems a bit strange. And it doesn't make a lot of difference, but if it was a lot more, it would.
Is that for this year or next year?
Well, it says the event date is this year, 26th. So that would be wrong on a couple of levels because it would be in the wrong budget year.
No,
No,
17th
it's
of
been in
April.
April, for this.
No, but it's an invoice for an event that's happening in November this year.
Financial year
Yeah, it was
starts in
paid in
April,
April.
5th of April.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know why that is then.
Oh, yeah,
I
so
don't
Debbie
know.
will
Debbie.
investigate that, please. That's
Thank
brilliant.
you.
Maybe because the invoice doesn't match the payment. Which, well, it doesn't, because it's asking for 40, remaining 160.
Yeah, it might have just been because it says total £200.
Yeah, okay, we'll find out why, because
Yeah,
that shouldn't be.
this has caused us difficulties in the past because of the way the system required you to put it in, and then it didn't add up properly. Because I can remember querying several things like that on the old system.
Oh, on RBS?
Yeah,
Well, okay, that's gone, so,
You would enter the invoice, the total amount, and then you would pay the deposit, and that would be the balance of the separate at a later date.
Yeah.
It would show that in the system.
but it didn't then, because the invoice, because there was no room to put it in there, unless you checked at each invoice. Because I think it was in there, it said 200 quid, but we'd only paid 40 or something silly, and I kept saying, but this doesn't add up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the old one, that was the old system, that's one. But if you could look into that and just check it for us, so that's that.
yeah, I don't know why.
No, I don't know why, but I remember seeing that now and thinking to myself, oh, so they decided to pay it in full.
Which you wouldn't, because it might get cancelled.
Well, yeah.
Don't know. We will dig.
Yeah, because I haven't seen that, because I don't do the payments anymore, you learn a lot when you do the payments, don't you, there's all sorts of things going on.
Okay. Thank
Anything
you very
else?
much. No.
Because I got really cross with this, I'll tell you. We've still got this problem where we're having payee, and there's so many of them that say no description. Now, 9 times out of 10, if you go to page 28 for sake of argument, it says Amazon small cutting lists in the payee bit, and nothing in the description.
I want to take that up with our supplier.
Yeah.
It's not coming through the description.
But because it ought to, then there'd be no problem, everybody would be able to see that actually they're not all blank, they're just in the wrong column. It's neither use nor ornament in terms of it doesn't make any difference because the description is there, it's just in the column and it looks odd because the description column is blank.
Yeah.
However, if you go to page 27 at the bottom, they're about an inch up. I'm not on yours because I've done 2 pages. You've got driver vehicle licensing agency with nothing, which I believe is some sort of monthly payment.
It would be the road tax.
Yeah, but it doesn't say that.
No, so all of these invoices get pulled through electronically.
Yes.
So, but we can take that up with Gov Finance and ask why it's not reading them correctly. Because clearly all the Amazon ones, it just habitually doesn't read them. They're all, so that should be, in my world, an easy fix.
Well, I would have thought, you see, if you go to the bottom of 28, you've got Engraving World, Memorial Bench plaque that hasn't gone through. Amazon again, there, Amazon seems to be the biggest culprit. But then you've also got Dawlish Tyre and Auto Centre drive shaft, and the drive shaft should be over there. I know it's picky.
No, because it's an automated process. We
Yeah.
need to push them to try and reduce that to nil if possible.
Well, yes, because that way it then leaves us open to no criticism with people suggesting that there's something afoot when there really isn't anything afoot.
Can you
It's
put
the
that in
election.
the minutes, Debbie? Get hold of Gov Finance and see what they have to say for themselves.
I mean, I'll give you my copy if you want, so that you can see what I've written on. And TV licensing is the same. I'm presuming that's the TV license for our big screen, but it doesn't say that.
But it's,
What
you've
else
got to have a
do they
TV
do?
license for the products, so
Yes, absolutely.
you have to have a license for
And if
the
it's TV licensing, that's all
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
buying, but nothing there.
because all these would have gone through as PDFs, wouldn't they, Debbie?
Yeah, we said.
Yeah. So we email a PDF to an accounts email, and then the system reads the data and populates this, but clearly not.
And then when you get on to the top of page 31, there's loads of youth council things, which it says Easter YC event. Well, isn't that a mayor's event rather than a YC event? And because it'll be cost coded out to the mayor's fund, won't it, rather than,
Yes, but we need to know, we need to keep a tab on youth council expenditure.
yeah.
Its source is the mayor's events budget agreed. but we tag it because we need to know what youth council expenditure there is.
That's fine, that's fine. I just wondered whether we ought to put Easter YC Mayor's event, so that people know that that's what it is, or just put Mayor's event in the
Well,
description so that the public will know.
All I would say is the youth council now will have to be regularised in terms of terms of reference.
Yes.
So the youth council was run as an experiment using the mayor's events budget, but now it needs to be regularised because the experiment is over.
Mhm.
So that will come to full council for adoption when it's written,
Brilliant.
and then it will have its own budget line.
There's something else that I'm sure you've said this before. Why are we paying British Gas for the fountain?
Electricity,
That's the electricity,
but
isn't it?
it's not because
It's just a standing.
no, because it's moved to Tingbridge.
Ah, right.
We shouldn't have been paying.
Excellent. That's cool. And there were some, just me being me again, there were quite a lot of big transfers and repeated transfers, which there's one there, transfer of funds, 75 grand.
Yeah.
Now, transfer from who to what, and then I started looking at those, and there's quite a lot of them in swift succession. I've got all my papers out of them, unfortunately. So there's 3 25s together.
This will be money going from deposit to current to pay stage payments on toilets.
Right, now, the thing is, if that's transfer of funds and that's 75 grand, presumably that's actually a credit coming in, isn't it? Rather
Which
than,
page are you on?
that's 27.
27.
Rather than something going out. That was what was confusing me, because let's see, if you look on 33 as well, there they are. There's transfer from 179, transfer from 179, 25, 25 and 25, and then down there there's transfer 179, 175.
Yeah,
It's
sorry.
picking up payments across the board, not just the one account, so it is an expenditure.
Did you say page 27?
Yeah. It's about 3rd of March. No, yeah, 4th of March. About 2 inches up from the bottom. That's
So transfer of funds.
75,000.
Oh, yeah, okay. Right, but is that the mirror of the 325s, or they're
It's an
separate?
expenditure because it's coming from the deposit account and it's picking up payments across the board.
That's what I thought it probably was, but that isn't what it says, you see. Because I'm thinking, well, this is really odd, because it looks, because there's another one there, transfer to, on the bottom of page 33, there's £500,000 sat there, which is probably the precept coming in, I suspect.
Yep.
And that would have gone into this.
Well, that should be about 575,000.
It's 550. But,
What would you want it to say, Jen?
well, anything. But yeah, you see, if I'm looking at this as Joe Public, I'm thinking, well, I thought this was a list of payments. Who are we paying £50,000? Who are we paying these? Shouldn't they be showing us credits somewhere rather than just on the payments?
No, these are credits, so it's all outgoings, it's an outgoing
It's a
from the
list of
unit
payments.
deposit.
So where's that £550,000 gone?
It's gone into the current account. No, the 550 went from the current account into the deposit account. So it looks like it's an expense.
Well, yes, so what you need to do is change one of those. If it's got to either say transfer from and then transfer to, but it says the same account number. That's why I'm confused, because it doesn't say it's gone anywhere.
Well, that's the deposit account 0179. So if we said transfer.
So £550,000 has gone from the current account to the deposit account.
That's right.
Yeah. Which is not what the payment and the description says. Do you see what I'm not being,
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying, yeah.
because,
But what you could do, what in the first column, you could take out the account number.
yeah, just to clarify what's going where, because with the 325s, it says exactly the same thing, you see, you've got the same number,
Yeah.
transfer from, it says transfer from, and then you've got £325,000. Well, that may well be that's that 75 on the 4th of March there. On page 27, showing up
Is
down
it?
there. I doubt it, actually,
No.
thinking. But you see what I'm saying? It's going to get people thinking what's going on.
So what probably needs to change is the description in the first column after the date.
Yeah,
I'm not too sure we can change that because some of it is just automatic.
Well, no, that description is right, isn't it? It's coming out of the current account, which is that number, I assume, ending in 179.
No, the current ends 166, I think.
So it's coming out of the current account, transferred to 179.
Yeah.
so you need to change the first column.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's got that.
Because it's just a duplicate. The text is just a duplicate.
Okay.
So could we ask Finance that as well, maybe,
Mhm.
to see if they can give us a better descriptive piece of text? Because even if it said transfer from and gave the account number of the current account and then said transfer, well, yeah, because it's not. 179 is the deposit account. So that's money coming in.
Can I leave that with you to investigate? Because, as I say, that confused the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, well, surely,
Yeah.
if it's coming in, which is what it implies from that, it should have a
What we ideally want is the two different account numbers.
Yes.
From this one to this one.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Well,
When you see because everybody's getting so pernickety about what these look like, I'm thinking that, you know, if I was looking at that, not being able to have this conversation, I'd be asking, well, why does that have the same account number and yet you've made it as a payment?
Would the alternative be that there's two sheets, payments from deposit and payments from current? But it's a system, you don't want to be doing any typing.
No, because that's when you get errors.
Yeah, absolutely, so,
So we need to, we'll ask those questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think you also need to bear in mind that you are the scrutiny body for this list of payments. It's not Joe Public. Although we do seem to have a large number of FOIs.
Well, it is what it is, and we have to.
No, but what I'm saying, it's your legal responsibility.
Yes.
And to ask the questions you're asking is entirely appropriate.
Yes.
But you need to make this work for you as a committee.
Yes.
Yes.
So if you're
So
happy,
we will look at that and see if we can get it made clearer so that you can understand it at first
Yes.
viewing.
yeah, absolutely. If
is the system such that it would, if it applies to us, it would apply to Dawlish or Crediton or anything, or is it
No.
bespoke? Bit,
It's not bespoke, it's tailored.
okay.
So they've taken a much bigger product,
Yeah.
Business Central, Microsoft Business Central, and they make it work for a council. So it is relatively flexible.
Okay. Would there be a cost to it?
Probably not. Well, maybe an hour's support time, so not particularly relevant. But the actual data from invoices is automatic because the machine reads the PDF and then populates the finance system. And obviously, we don't want to make that manual.
No.
No. But yeah, all perfectly fine points, and
But we wouldn't want it to cost like £10,000.
no. If we can't do it, I might come back with some options. To see what they are. I would suspect none of that is a deal breaker.
Almost certainly. I mean, it's just got to be something that needs picking up on a code somewhere or in code somewhere to move it across.
It needs, well, it's a bit, it's not a dissimilar problem to having all the data in one field and nothing in the second field. It should be, where money is moving between accounts, it should be from this account to that account.
Because that's how it would show up on my bank statement. It would say, where's the money coming from? Who are you paying? I'm paying.
And at this point, I'd like to say I haven't bought a camper van.
Somebody said that. Yeah.
What about a coffee machine?
I do have a few fancy.
£25,000. Yeah, we just,
Well, yeah, but that's, someone didn't do what you're doing. Someone didn't question.
And I mean, I know I have been guilty of being a bit snarky in the past, but this isn't about sorting out why somebody bought 2 litres of biscuits. This is actually looking at better things. But normally, as I don't know whether you know this, were you on finance last year, Keith? Right. Normally, the deal is that I've said before, and well, Ian made the offer, that if you go through your payments and there are things that you don't understand, if you send him the list by Monday before the meeting, he will be able to give you the answers almost certainly on the Tuesday, because 9 times out of 10, his knowledge and memory isn't any more infinite of it than mine is. And you who do the payments will have seen quite a lot more of it go through. So I'm doing this cold now, which is why I'm perhaps being more pernickety.
Yeah.
But you can't turn up every time with a whole list of stuff just to make it look like there's something wrong. This time we didn't have a lot of choice really because of the bank holiday, unfortunately.
On reflection, I think I probably should have questioned that at the time.
Yes.
Yeah, apologies.
Well, we all do it.
We're trying to refine the system, so.
I've had to, as I say, that's what suddenly rang a bell with me. I remember that on the old system that I got really confused because what the invoice said wasn't what we paid. And there didn't seem to, because the invoice said it was something that, for sake of argument, 200 quid, but we'd only paid 40. And I thought, well, how did you do that? Because the invoice, it didn't say deposit.
Yeah, and in the list, I don't think there's any question. There isn't any question of the legitimacy of the transaction.
Absolutely.
It's just how it's recorded and how it might appear.
And if it's a computer, we ought to be able to manage to get somebody to control it somehow. So if you're happy with that, Ian, I mean,
I'm optimistic with all of those.
Thanks very much.
Normally in the past, we have had a few sharp words because people will turn up at the meeting and then suddenly go into great lengths about why we did make this £2.30 refund for something, and expect Ian to know immediately, well, a lot of this is done by the girls and the machine. Ian may not necessarily have known it, and I quite object to that because there's plenty of time to go through the papers between Wednesday and Tuesday. In fact, 12 o'clock last night. But it's things like that that's why I was fairly sure you'd said what the fountain was before now, but that's even better if it's transferred across the team.
Shouldn't have been coming out of our account.
Are they going to backdate it?
We have a few ongoing discussions with Teambridge because they randomly took over our electricity supply at the old Point Toilets to power their parking meter, which is infinitesimally small, and that.
That's what Teambridge do.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And we were paying all the electricity and water at Jubilee, and their tenants, Surf Life Saving Club, Canoe Club, were using our electricity and our water. It's been a long saga, and the worst place ever has always been the Point. And I was spending a lot of hours this weekend watching the comings and goings at the point.
What's
And
the
it is.
speed of the water?
Oh, well, so we had a few, going off at tangent, we had some complaints of a lot of water on the floor in the toilets. Well, the hand wash units, so put your hands in, it wets some soaps and dries them. Yeah, then you watch people and you watch someone come out, and then someone passes her a towel and she's had a wash using a walkout. And there'll be water everywhere. So we got a safety hazard, slip hazard. And in the old point toilets, there were sinks, and people would take water from motorhomes. They bring their effluent in. So we clamped down on all that. We took out the sinks. We put hand wash units in. Just this. I do wish someone would get to grips with motorhomes, like they have in Exmouth. And we tried, because we said to Timbridge, if you say where you want them, we'll provide waste facilities and water filling up. Eastcliff was our choice, because it's got the access. Timbridge said we can't make a mind out. So that's a lost opportunity, sadly. But they are, we know at the point that there are some traders who put grease and fat down the drains, lift the man on, chuck it down every day. Well, difference now is they're on candid camera, which will be going to Timbridge Environmental Health. It's like the Wild West out there sometimes.
Okay, great.
So, list of payments. Oh, the last item, 7, 8 and 9, which is the EMR movement, the audit report, which has gone to full council, but just needed to be looked at here.
Well, there will be another one. There'll be the final.
Oh, there'll be the final one by then as well, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the fees and charges, which will be all the lemon booking fees, so that's the accommodation.
That's accommodation, all the gazebos, room hire, then you've got tenant rents and allotments. And it's literally those 3 items I haven't had time to spend with Louise. Well, it is because obviously we resolved all the EMR movements when we did the budget. It's now actually getting a decision to reflect those. So that then our earmark reserves will be public.
So the next meeting.
For people to want to spend.
Oh, yeah. The next meeting is the 21st of July. Is that in time to get the AGAR thing all sorted out? AGAR should be going to full council in June. Brilliant.
Should.
Okay. So all of that stuff will sort of tidy itself up, because I found the thing on the allotments, didn't I?
And we have the new auditor in place,
Oh,
internal
yes,
auditor.
of course we do.
And Dawlish are using the same internal auditor. So we might have some savings on travel costs. Well, I think maybe my colleague could.
In
We
terms,
do like to plagiarise these other stuff.
in terms of the allotments, I'm conscious you put an email through, Colin, about them wanting CCTV and doing all sorts.
So that's on the agenda for assets,
Right, okay.
Yeah.
to discuss their issue.
Unfortunately, I have to offer apologies to the assets, even though I've forwarded that on, because I've got a long-standing arranged work appointment in South Wales. I'll be able to watch it, but I'm not allowed to participate in it. Sorry. So Broadmeadow Allotments, yeah, are willing to pay for their own CCTV. But David Cox has offered a £500 grant for it from his county council at Thunder.
Yeah, but there's no
It's just
problem
as
with
the
them.
landlord.
There's no problem with us being the landlord.
You can donate, yeah.
Yeah, and there's obviously other issues like where some of the
Sorry, it's
youths are coming from. Well, that Timbridge may have a role to play there because they're the landlord for the Meadow Centre.
Yeah.
And so if there is people coming over the wall there, then so we might be able to help them in other ways. And so have they resolved what CCTV they want? Because obviously it's going to be tricky because there's no power.
solar powered.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I can't, after I'd sent the email, I realised that you were the chair of the Essex Utilities and I haven't forwarded it to you, but I will.
So I've just put it loosely on the agenda.
Yeah, thank you very much. If you need any information during the course of the meeting, I'm available on the phone. And, but also I'm a plot holder, so whether there's any pecuniary interest in it.
I think it's
more through the vegetable interest. Yeah.
Really?
If it's a solar powered version, are they happy to source that and pay for it themselves, or could we help them with that?
Yeah, they would be willing to pay for it, and David Cox has offered money already.
I think it'll cost a bit more, 500 quid.
They don't think so. No.
Okay.
No. To start with, you don't think so. Okay. But it could be that they would then not want a grant application.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
Okay.
But at the moment, it's covered. And they would propose, I think, if that grant money hadn't been offered, then it would be covered out of the ongoing expenses. We need to talk to the chair and the committee of Broadmeadow Allotments Association on that. But, yeah.
Because we might be able to get them some help from what was crime prevention.
Yeah.
Might be able to give them some useful advice, or
And there's an awful lot of
Sorry, we're not
community
gonna
groups that do grants like South West Water and
oh yes,
things like
for
that
small amounts like that.
environmentally things.
Mm.
So, I mean, they might need to do a little bit of.
It's just a shame that it comes to that.
It's the world we live in the end, isn't it?
I just despair.
Oh, there you go. So if everybody's happy that all roads are diverted through, then most of those will either pitch up at full council, next finance or assets then. And then we've only got to note, I think number 11, some grant feedback that came back unsolicited, which I will read out for the TV. Councillors are asked to note the grant feedback below. This is good afternoon to all councillors at Teignmouth Town Council. This is from Sally Preston down at East Teignbridge Community Transport. This is what used to be Dulwich and East Teignbridge. We were overjoyed to receive the grant from yourselves to assist the charity. As shared in the application, the grant will assist us to purchase clothing, etc. for our wonderful team, and it will bring many advantages. We really are very grateful. We've already placed an order with our local printer using local businesses in all that we do, and we'll feed back to the council through the appropriate channels as guided. Yet we wanted to just share our sincere thanks in the meantime, which is really, really nice. That was for clothing so that people could sort of see their drivers. They've got a sort of house uniform because some of their clients.
We've been invited to their AGM.
Yes, I go every time. It's well worth it. And then we've also got something from the Alice Cross Centre, who we gave, I think it was something like £2,000 or £2,100 for the room dividers, so that they could make better use of the big space there. And it says, please pass on my thanks to the panel. Best wishes, Peter. That's Lady Peter Howell, General Manager at the Alice Cross. So that's the end of it all, I think. I mean,
Grant feedback forms
yes,
to everybody, and we've had about 4 from 2024 come back, and 5 from 2025 come back so far.
that's cool.
But they only went out recently, so.
Put that on the next agenda.
Yeah, if we can see those as they come through and leave you to just keep count, that would be really good. Can you send me 1 or 2 of them just to have a quick look at?
Yes,
So
that's
I can,
a nice version.
yes, because if we're going to renew the policy, I think we need to renew or revisit the feedback form and what it actually says, because I'm not convinced that we know what a lot of them actually say anymore. And also the application form, because when I was just looking at the application forms this time, I thought it's got no date on it. I found a sheet on the floor and I didn't know from which lot of papers it had come from, and there was no date on it to give me a clue.
That's the joys of printing it on paper.
Absolutely, serves me right. I know you used to do that.
You can't drop pages on the screen.
Well, I don't even have the cat to blame anymore. It's me who's
Well,
caused
there you
the avalanche. But there you go. I think, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience and your attention. I think that's it for this time.
1804.
Thank you, Joe.
I'm just going to forward this email to you, so that you know what we're talking about.
Could I possibly borrow Joan and Keith for a moment?
Hmm?
About one of our